Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. QB Russell Wilson putting pressure on Steelers with 2 scheduled visits, report. The Pittsburgh Steelers appear to be waiting for a free agency decision from quarterback Aaron Rodgers. But Russell Wilson may be losing his patience. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported shortly after the new league year in the NFL began at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on March 12 that Wilson will visit the Cleveland Browns and New York Giants over the next couple days. Steelers insider Mark Kaboly tweeted, putting the pressure on in response to the news. After losing out on re-signing Justin Fields on March 10, the Steelers quickly pivoted to Rodgers and Wilson in quarterback free agency. However, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Jerry Dulac suggested with a report on March 11 that Rodgers was the team's preference over Wilson. It's possible Russell Wilson could return to the Steelers if ongoing discussions with Aaron Rodgers fail to result in a financial agreement, per multiple sources, wrote Dulac on X, formerly Twitter. If the Steelers are indeed waiting on a decision from Rodgers, Wilson could shake up the situation if Pittsburgh sees its fallback option begin to seriously consider other teams. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported Rodgers is deciding between signing with the Steelers or Giants. QB Russell Wilson set to visit Cleveland Browns, New York Giants. Schefter wasn't the only NFL insider that announced Wilson's plan to visit the Browns and Giants. Just about every notable league insider in the industry had the breaking news at the same time. That seemed a little suspicious to Kaboly. Venture capital como Saluco. O cenario do venture capital na pode de floresta e clima, video 3/3 o papel do venture capital. O venture capital é essencialmente formado de investimento que possibilita o desenvolvimento de novas tecnologias e produtos. Com foco em estágios iniciais, o instrumento funciona como. Sponsored by Impacta Financas. Saiba mais. 7 people citing sources at the same time say Russell Wilson will travel to Cleveland and NYG for visits, Kaboly tweeted. Somebody wants that news out there. If that's how Kaboly read the situation, it's likely the Steelers viewed the news of Wilson's visits to Cleveland and New York the same. The veteran quarterback is trying to create more leverage in his contract negotiations with the Steelers. That doesn't mean, though, that the news of Wilson's visits aren't true. But the possibility that the visits are merely a bluff does exist. The Steelers signed Wilson to a 1-year contract for the veteran league minimum last March. Wilson agreed to that deal because the Denver Broncos were going to pay him more than $39 million no matter what. Wilson started strongly, winning 6 of his first 7 starts. But including the playoffs, Wilson ended the 2024 campaign on a 5-game losing streak. Steelers waiting on Aaron Rodgers' decision? As Wilson sets meetings with other teams, the Steelers appear to be waiting to see Rodgers' final decision. CBS Sports' Brian DeArdo wrote, there are conflicting reports on when Rodgers may make his decision on his football future. But there's a possibility that it could be weeks before Rodgers chooses a team. Former NFL general manager Doug Whaley argued during an appearance on 93.7 The Fan, via Steelers Depot, on March 12 that Rodgers is holding the entire Steelers organization hostage as he is weighing his future. It will be interesting to see how long the Steelers are willing to continue waiting on Rodgers while Wilson plans to visit other teams. On January 27, Steelers owner Art Rooney II said he preferred to re-sign either Fields or Wilson. But Fields agreed to a contract with the New York Jets. Wilson now appears to be entertaining joining Fields in New York or heading to Cleveland as the Steelers negotiate with Rodgers. Details of Darius Slay's new contract revealed the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. The team is hoping to snap that inglorious 8-year streak in 2025 with the help of some off-season additions. The Steelers added a big piece to their offense with the trade for wideout DK Metcalf and, more recently, the team padded its defense by signing Darius Slay in free agency. The veteran cornerback reached an agreement with Pittsburgh earlier in the week. On Wednesday, it was announced that Slay signed a one-year, $10 million deal with the Steelers, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter on X. The contract is fully guaranteed. Slay is fresh off a Super Bowl victory, as he won his first career championship as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles last season. Shortly after the celebration, however, the Eagles released Slay to save $4.3 million in salary cap space. Slay set to join the Steelers for a season after Super Bowl victory. The Detroit Lions selected Slay in the second round of the 2013 draft. He spent the first 7 years of his career with the Lions before joining the Eagles in 2020. Now, the six-time Pro Bowler will begin his 13th season in the NFL as a member of the Steelers. Despite recently turning 34, Slay was considered one of the best cornerbacks available in free agency. He had a strong season for the Eagles, allowing a career-best 47.1% completion rate in coverage. While he continues to play like an elite corner, his snap rate did dip in 2024. After being on the field for 98% of defensive plays in 2023, he only played 81% last season, via Pro Football Reference. Still, Slay is a great fit for the Steelers, who lost CB Dante Jackson in free agency. The veteran defensive back will join Joey Porter Jr., Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Deshaun Elliott, creating a strong secondary in Pittsburgh. While the Steelers improved their defense, they continue to wait on a quarterback. Pittsburgh lost Justin Fields to the New York Jets in free agency, and it looks as if it will come down to Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. Rodgers was said to be interested in joining the Steelers, however the drawn-out process has been frustrating for some, although it's mostly reporters who've been complaining so far. The New York Giants were thought to be the favorites to land the future Hall of Famer earlier this month. Now it's unclear what Rodgers will do. The addition of DK Metcalf, which gives Pittsburgh a pass-catching weapon opposite George Pickens, could be a difference-maker. Mike Giannakos is the former editor-in-chief of High Times magazine, where he also spearheaded the video department and event production. He is a longtime podcaster and even longer-suffering New York Jets fan. Hold up in Aaron Rodgers' response to Steelers' contract offer has nothing to do with money. Dulac says the Pittsburgh Steelers have an offer on the table for Aaron Rodgers, and he appears to be their priority. The only problem is he is out strolling on the beach, contemplating infinity. While the New York Giants are also pursuing him, with the Minnesota Vikings potentially interested, there is no timeline for him to make a decision, it seems. Indeed, according to Jerry Dulac, the Steelers don't appear interested in altering their offer to Rodgers. And his report suggests that the offer itself isn't the sticking point for him either, if there is one. A free agent for the first time in his career, he is not in a rush to make a decision. The delay in whether the Steelers are going to sign Aaron Rodgers appears to be a matter of the four-time league MVP taking his good old time to make a decision, Dulac writes, adding that it is a case of Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers. He adds, apparently, the holdup has nothing to do with money. Our latest videos. Rodgers is the second quarterback the Steelers offered a contract to that we know of, Justin Fields turning them down. Dulac previously confirmed they were in discussions with Sam Darnold, but nobody reported that they made an offer. It doesn't seem that they made Russell Wilson an offer, and he is now entertaining other suitors. It is unclear, Dulac said, how long they are prepared to wait for Rodgers' answer. The Steelers are looking to go from a potential Hall of Famer in Wilson to a surefire one in Rodgers. In neither case, however, have their previous achievements indicated future success. After all, he went 5-11 last season with the New York Jets. What does the Steelers' offer for Aaron Rodgers look like? It's anybody's guess, and of course, some are willing to. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk put out a figure of $90 million over 2 years, which beat writers seemed to think was more than he would command at this stage of his career. Rodgers joined the Jets via trade in 2023, New York falsely believing happy days were here again. He proceeded to tear his Achilles on the first series of the season. Through the first half of last year, he clearly looked rusty, if not still recovering from injury. While his numbers improved, however, they were still about as successful as the Steelers down the stretch. As recently as 2021, Rodgers was still the best quarterback in the NFL, but that isn't the player to whom the Steelers submitted an offer. Since then, he is 14-4-21 as a starter, his numbers falling short of his career averages. While they might look good in comparison to what the Steelers have produced, they are not difference-making figures. And the Steelers need a quarterback who can make a difference, considering they haven't won a playoff game since 2016. Are you a fan? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.